relative to
Honorable Kolba? No. One of the things is, before even your interview, people who follow my interview on OKF, and that very time he appeared, I said what I'm saying there. That with me, if the due process is done and it's come to me on allegation of the way he carried, for me, mind you now, it's always a best practice. People carry you to court on multiple charges, so not only one of the charges will catch you, right? So I'm not one of those who think that he actually was treason. But I'm one of those who thinks that he did not carry himself in line or dignifying the house. He exposes the house to public dispute. And that is something that we can expel or suspend a colleague for in the house. It's in our rule 9, going far our rule 9.1 and 9.2. Against that, I can vote against Honorable Kolba. But what is circulating until I can go back to town, I can't authenticate that. Oh yeah, I support the expulsion under my terms and conditions. What are my terms? Not on the issue of treason, but on the issue of the way he carried himself, on the issue of exposing the house to public dispute, on the issue that he swore an oath to uphold the law and the dignity of this country. Get my politics to spill over your head and just say same thing, all of it. In addition to my condition, what my condition? That due process must be followed. What is the due process? According to our rules, when a colleague is complained, it is sent to committee. Committee will investigate. They report to plenary. Plenary will put it on the floor. We debate it, then we take, if we could not find a consensus on the recommendation of the committee, then we do a hand vote, not yea and nay. So under that condition, yeah, I can vote again on the Kolba without even thinking.
The world, and Liberia in particular, is faced with 3 major issues called the planetary crisis: climate change, biodiversity loss, and pollution. Your Excellency, when your administration took over, there was no waste management policy. We worked in 2024 and passed a policy with the civil government to create a solid waste management policy that is private sector driven. Under that policy, under your administration, we are happy to report that today, we do a lot of other things, but the major one that we are really happy about is the plastic recycling facility. Plastic is problematic. But our villages, it was also a problem. But the facility here, as you all sort of plastic collected, grounded, and then another product is produced out of it. This is environmental sustainability at the core. Mr. President, under that particular policy, under your administration, we are also happy to report in Bensenville, a process is coming up by Eco Gas Solution. They have already started collecting waste. They're collecting the waste and they will turn it into a biogas. That process is ongoing right now. Thirdly, we are happy to report that even in FEMA, the EPA working with the city government, we put up a plan there, working with the marketeers to turn the organic waste into a compost. And so it's gradual, but we are hopeful under your administration, Nigeria will be clean. Thank you for the support. Thank you for the policy and everything you're doing. Thank you to certain brother, certain group of companies. This plan, we will support it in terms of making sure Nigeria is clean. Let us have a meeting, let's continue discussion, and under this president will have a better Liberia. Thank you very much.
In the final document, the Senate ensured that the cost of construction was within the national and regional range, and there were adequate provisions for the utilization of local services. Few of the inputs of the Senate and the House include the rearrangement of the budget lines to include $2 million for the participation in the project of educational institutions in Grand Cape County, Bremen County, Losa, Monserrato, which are the concession counties. Another $2 million for the participation of community-based organizations in the concession counties, and $7 million for the pavement of the streets in Tottenham, Robert Sports, and Virginia, and implementation of other projects to be determined by the Ministry of Public Works and the Pivot, the concession land. The next cardinal responsibility of the Senate and the House is to exercise oversight during the implementation of the project so that the relevant agencies in the executive branch ensure full delivery in a timely manner of the work program agreed between the Liberian government and Pivot. For Pivot, you are aware of the various issues raised by the Senate and the public during the ratification process. Whether you will perform and deliver, although you provided reasonable assurances through documentation in respect of your technical and financial competencies and experience, the doubts are still in the minds of our people. But the Senate has the confidence and trust that you will deliver fully. Excellencies, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, we believe rural development is crucial to economic growth and inter-exchanges in our two countries, like
9 to 11. Blaze Radio, they bring talk with the heaven. Ambassador KONAH RUFUS on the mic. For talking points, we go shine the light. Talking point for Blaze we day. 90.7 online every day. Politics, news, and truth we bring. For Liberia, we go make you sing. We talk the matter, no go hide, no go run. From Monrovia to every town, we get the one. Issues with matter, we go break them down. For the people, for the youth, for the whole town. Talking point for Blaze.
Indeed, folks.
It's on 7 online.
It is a good day
Is that true?
to be back on your radio
Yeah, we go make you sing.
and your television this evening.
I be the gang, you bring the
And let me say a good evening to you wherever you are,
government talk to
however you are joining us.
talking points, they give you all that.
I'd love to say welcome to tonight's edition of the Talking Point.
Then no one go blind from politics.
Tonight's edition promises to be fascinating.
On struck. Talking
As always,
every day, 90.7 online.
we're going to be discussing lots of issues
We bring,
about Liberia,
yeah, we go make you sing.
about the mother's land.
Every night, don't miss.
My name is Ambassador KONAH RUFUS.
The real talk go. Ambassador Rufus, your voice,
I'd
your
love to say good evening to you, especially those of you joining us for the very first time.
oh.
Welcome to the Talking Point on Blaze Radio and Blaze Online TV. We'd love to say, folks, welcome. There are lots of things for us to talk about. Lots of things for us to talk about. But definitely, before we do that, quickly, let's inform you that the Blaze cash giveaway is on. So, put in your transaction star 799 star 9 hash and see how best you can make your number visible in the system. Today, you play with 100 Liberian dollars and stand a chance to win for yourself at 20,000 Liberian dollars double, okay? Yeah, so put in your transaction to make your number visible. So like we said, folks, there are lots of things for us to talk about, but let me announce that we're going to have former district number 8 representative Moses Akaras Gray. We're going to have him tonight as our guest. Yeah, we're going to have him tonight as our guest. So just relax in your home and let's have a nurse point together, nurse talking point. Let's have a nurse discussion together tonight. Okay. So yes, but actually due to some circumstances, he's going to come via the phone line. So, but absolutely, we're going to have him tonight for us to talk about series of issues, national issues. We're going to discuss national issues, everything that has to do with Liberia. Okay, so I just thought to inform you about that. And in the next 1 or 2 minutes, we're going to have him on the line. So this whole issue of the exposure of former representative, someone say in battle representative Yake Koluba, it is still on, and we are we are fighting the process. We're gonna see how it's going to end. Yeah, we are still waiting for the 28th of this month to know what's going to happen there. So just relax, folks. Just relax, and coming up shortly, we're going to have the former lawmaker. He's going to be discussing. We're going to be discussing series of issues tonight as it relates to Liberia. You know, Liberia is our common denominator. So when we come on this platform, we talk about Liberia. We discuss about Liberia. So it matters a lot. So okay, so folks, okay, I think we have former Representative Akaras Gray. Like I said, due to some issues beyond his control. Yeah, so he cannot appear live on our platform or on the television, but he's going to come on via the phone line. So, good evening, Mr. Gray.
Yeah, good evening, good evening, good evening. And let me say good morning to all the people around the world, good afternoon, because the time is in different time zone.
Yeah.
And I want to say good evening to the people of the Republic of Liberia. I guess you not just online on the internet, you also on radio, right?
Yeah, we are on the radio. We are on our online radio. We're also on our regular radio in Liberia and also on the internet, on Facebook and
Oh,
YouTube.
thank you. Yeah, thank you very much. And I want to apologize to the public that circumstances beyond my control. I cannot be able to come on life. But again, I will try to do my best.
Okay. So yeah, how is everything? How live with you?
I'm ecstatic. First, I want to give the Almighty God thank you for showing that I live to see this moment. And life is normal, like I always told people, I'm one of the different guys because I've had life in opposition before coming to state power. And I've also had life in the government cycle. So I understand what it means to be a member of the opposition party and what it means to be a member of the ruling party. So being in opposition now is just a normal phenomenon. And by 2029 is our utmost hope that we can get back into the governance structure of the country through a representation in District Number 8, Monserrato County. Because 2029, I'm definitely going to recontest in this district where I am now. But I just want to say good afternoon, good evening again to our people, and thank you for bringing me on.
Okay, that's awesome. Former Representative Akaras Gray, you've been out of government more than let's say I think more than 2 years now. And how is life in opposition? Like you said, you've been in opposition before, and now you serve in government. Now you are in opposition. How is life in the opposition?
Yeah, I've been out of government for 2 years, 3 months precisely, because January of 2024, I will left the government officially. That was our last gathering as member of the House of Representatives. So life, yeah, life, like I said, life in the opposition is also somehow, I must admit, that is somehow challenging. Do I say challenging? Yes, because a lot of people still look up to you. Some people still believe that you still have all of the powers. They want to come to you to settle certain disputes, to stand up for them, to still make the representation. Like, for example, the demolition ongoing in Central Monrovia, District 8 being no exception to that. Market women losing their businesses. The market tables are being broken down. They've been taken off the street. They have nowhere to go. Many kids are out of the schools because one of my greatest strengths was in education. Okay, we even went as far, humanitarian gesture to help with the issue of health and sanitation. We send a lot of kids to school. So many of them, we may not be able to send the same number to school, but they still look up to us. Realistically, I take full responsibility for my own defeat. So I don't shy away from that. I don't run away from that. But the corrective measures are taken. Yeah, so in opposition, is also challenging, but you got to learn how to work your way. But as an individual, I'm okay. I must tell you that. I just think about many persons, think about the welfare of the people, the crying, the hardship, they still look up to us. So it's not as ordinary as you think. I got a bigger responsibility in opposition than I had before coming to a state power. People think that we still have all of the powers, we still have all of the money, we still have everything to just give, and to just help. But we cannot stop helping, we cannot stop giving. What God lays on our hand, we give it to people. Yeah.
Okay, the way you started with the district, so I'll just go along with that. Let's just begin from district number 8. Uh, you lost the election 2023. What went wrong, right, as it relates to you losing the election? Because mind you, you served for 2 terms as a lawmaker.
Look,
So what,
look, look, look. I will say, yeah,
yeah,
I will say this
what
much to
actually went
you.
wrong for which you were defeated?
I will say this much to you, and I will say this much body
Yeah.
to you and the rest of the people under our voice today. The first thing first is that I, during my second term, that is under President Weah administration, I made a public declaration that I wasn't going to contest again on grounds that I thought it was about time to transition by 2024 into the executive branch of government from the legislature with 12 years experience in the legislature. However, because of that pronouncement, a lot of people felt that, look, Gray is now contesting again. He's made this declaration, which was factual. By the end of the day, some of our colleagues in the legislature, the people in the CDC, in the executive branch of government, thought that it was important for me to remain in the legislature with my wealth of experience and help and guide the process through and strengthen the CDC government legislatively. That was the kind of thought that are you getting me?
Yeah, we are getting you.
So yeah, so last minute of time, I got convinced, and once I made a pronouncement, I was going to recontest. In fact, some people thought that I was going to contest in Kidman, and I kept telling people I would contest in Monserrado County, but it was almost late. A lot of people have made up their mind. Some migrated from the district. Other people in the CDC who wanted to contest had already gone far for almost 4 years, been working around in the district. The Abu Melo, for example, the Tamale Mayonnaise, for example, the Rufus Nouvelle Working, the many of them are affiliation with the CDC. So some seditions have committed themselves to them. You understand?
Okay.
So when I came to the process, okay, we made our case. Unfortunately for us, I want to consider it to be a major victory. We lost with less than 1% of the vote difference.
No.
Yeah, even less than 0.05% of the vote difference. We lost.
Okay. So
Yeah.
looking.
So that was a very narrow margin. So one thing is that
Yeah.
yes, people migrated from the district, and another thing, the CDC have more candidates in the district. Not CDC as a party, but other people who wanted to run on the CDC together. But once I came back, some of them ran as independent candidates. So yeah, so we divided the votes. You can see, and you look at the migration pattern of district number 8. In 2005 and 2011, we had the highest number of registered voters in Liberia, not just in Monserrado County. By 2017, we were among the first 5 in Monserrado County. By 2023, the number dropped. It declined. We became the least number of registered voters we have in the entire country, the least number of registered voters. Then imagine from on 2 occasions,
Okay.
and 1 occasion between the 1st to the 5th, and then we went all of 17, went to 17. So you can see there were mass migration of people from this district to a greater extent. Probably because the federal grid was not contesting and they didn't see the choice of candidate. So some people left, some people migrated, which is a normal thing. But starting from that, we have made a early pronouncement. At least this time that we made a pronouncement in the second year of the administration.
Okay. So let's look at what some of your constituents are telling you since you left the district seat as a lawmaker. Now they have new lawmaker, which is Representative Prince too. Your constituents, what are they telling you since you lost in the election?
No, I will not be personal with the lawmaker.
Yeah.
He's the lawmaker, and I will not attempt to go personal with him. Okay, but I will say exactly some of the motivating factors.
Okay.
No, this district, whether you like it or not, is a densely populated CDC district. I want you to know this. The president won this district with 3,000 plus margin as compared to the margin that United Party won the CDC in the second round of the election. Just this district. So you can see like 3,000 persons cut across other candidates besides me also voted for president. We have to take his number off. The people concerned in the district has to do with the issue of concrete representation of the people. Because I just catalog some issues. The issue of land crisis in the district, for example. The one that lawmakers to stand for them. That's what they want. The issue of demolition is a serious issue. Some of these people have been living in some of the community area for 60 years. Some been there since the 60s, since the 70s, and seeing that area being demolished. And I was there standing for them. I just wrote something on my Facebook page today that a lot of things we did. For example, we renegotiated for the Jogbatam market, the Nesibido market. You know that market, or family claimed that market. One councillor, James West, claimed that market. And Ellington, we had to renegotiate to purchase that market. The Nesibido market. that legacy market for Samuel Dotan. The slave-way, for example, school, community school, we had to renegotiate under President Weah administration. The Sony when community school built the school. We also had to renegotiate when there was no electricity for our people and there were challenges. I was always there standing there to make sure that they either get a transformer. We go to LEC with some of the LEC managing director, the issue of pipe-borne water, the issue of health and sanitation, for example, the drainage in Sonnywen and other areas, the rainy season by now, we'll start cleaning the drainages across the district. We build affordable latrines. I know people criticize it, but guess what? Almost 50% of homes in Monrovia don't even have flush toilets. And you know what I'm talking about, especially along the waterway from 9th Street all the way going to Slipway, Jalastan, Plunkall, and all of those things, even the Parish Street and other areas. So many persons depend mainly on government latrines or community latrines. So these are all concerns by our people. The schools, for example, I was sending a lot of children to schools and I was sending for the public school. I was teaching, in fact, at Topman High, G.W. Gibson School, and into Acton. It renovated Topman High School of nothing less than $9,000 to $10,000 in 2023. We took care of the schools that Richard Nixon renovated. Richard Nixon, for example, the Loma Quarter Community School in Booster Quarters, the school in Rock Spring Valley, for example. We gave to Demonstration Elementary School. We gave to Cooper Memorial. We have students in 5 colleges and university in District Number 8. The University of Liberia, for example, we have nothing less than 100 students going to school there when they were paying tuition. And when the government declared tuition free in my second term, in fact, I took President Weah there to the University of Liberia campus. We were very instrumental in that. So it's a lot of things we did. We stood with the student community. We fought for them. We donated materials to health centers every year. We're making donations of nothing less than $20,000 in materials to a health center. We're renovating health center for the first time. We put Sonnywen community in the budget of the Republic of Liberia. When there were fire disasters, for example, in homes, I built 2 horses, right? For fire victims, besides the help I gave the other fire victims to build some of the homes. I built 2 homes from scratch, one down 9th Street, landside. You can take your camera there tomorrow anytime. Now bedroom, it was gutter with fire, burned to the ground. We built that another area in Pusher Quarters community that was gutter with fire. We also built that area when there were alleys that the government came or areas there were no alleys they wanted to open. We stood with the people who made a case why they cannot open certain areas because the government was not ready to pave the roads in those areas. Some of those areas have schools where they were not in development. But we're saying once the government has the cash and their allocation, then the government can go ahead. When I inherited District Number 8, Montserrado County in 2012, only 5% of this district was electrified in 2012. I left this district with nothing less than 98 to 99% electrified.
So now,
the first communication I wrote in January.
yeah.
I didn't stop there. The entire single belt was full of potholes. By 2012, the entire single belt, the roads were not paved. There were potholes. There were water setting all over the area. We worked with the government along with SSF, and we did what we did. And Cinco is one of the most paved community in this area. We left pavement nothing less than 95%.
Okay.
2 major pavements that we did not do. Okay.
Yeah. So,
the Johnson Street Road, part of it, coming down to Radita Market, and the Slipway Road, part of it.
Yeah.
But again,
yeah,
most of these things, the interactive stuff, I'm not even talking about the number of bills. And I can tell you this, when it comes to lawmaking, for the last, I can beat my chest, from 2005 to 2025, I can beat my chest, that's 20 years. In the last 20 years, no lawmaker has submitted and passed more bill combined more than Akawas Gray has done in terms of that will impact the livelihood of Liberians. And I will give you 3 examples. Let me give you 3 examples.
Yeah, go ahead quick.
As the chief sponsor of the bill on dual nationality, dual citizenship for Liberians to reinstate their citizenship. Okay, the Liberian in the diaspora will be seen as Liberians. We have the same benefit as Liberian. Will be able to serve their country as Liberian. The alien and naturalization laws in the 70s did not permit Liberians to have dual nationality. If you left this country, when America or Ghana or whatsoever, you had a child there, or you were here, you left Lofa County and you went there for greener pasture, and you wanted to go to school, you had to be citizen, or you want a certain job, they can only give it to citizen. So we reinstated that citizenship on dual nationality. This is a landmark bill. I didn't stop there. The National Code of Conduct for the Republic of Liberia to fulfill Article 90C of the Constitution and that of part of Article 5C of the Liberian Constitution on nepotism. Today, the entire country will talk about the ombudsman, for example. It's because of my brain work, along with the governance commission headed by Dr. Sawyer, that today there's an ombudsman to monitor the code of conduct that are sponsored. Nepotism, for example, when you talk about is nepotism, it's because Akaras Gray put in the code of conduct nepotism. So when you talk about access declaration, for example, let me just conclude on it.
Yeah.
It's because of Akaras Gray National Code of Conduct bill that people are declaring access today in this country. When you talk about officials of government, not party officials, not getting involved into national politics and using governmental position of government access. That because of Akaras Gray, go to the issue of bribery, go to the issue of the whistleblower in the code of conduct. We can go on, and we can catalog today. So I just name to you two bills. Look at the Liberian Tourism Authority that has been established. So, that bill was introduced by Akaras Gray and Edwin Snow.
So former Representative Gray, with all of these things you are cataloging, there are some people who believe that you did not actually do well as it relates to your representation of the people, and that's the reason why you lost the election 2023. What do you have to say to such a person?
But I just spoke to you about representation.
Yeah.
And that's why the people missed me for. How do you represent the people of your electoral district or the country?
Do you think the people are missing you?
I told you if we went to Raditown Market, for example, that I renovated. You know, I renovated the entire back of Raditown Market. We spent over $30,000 United States dollars. We took the people from under the rain and we put them on a shelter. Okay? I know they have a challenge now in the new market of Raditown area, which we did not renovate. Okay? That is representation. When you send kids to school and you provide health incentives and materials to government clinic or health centers in the district to private area, when your people are in trouble and government is doing eviction and you stand with them and you defy authority and you negotiate, you resist and also negotiate, the people are messing like Akaras Gray. Representation is part of your advocacy on the floor of the legislature for your people. Show me one lawmaker who stood on the legislative floor and argue for his people or the country more than Akaras Gray on the legislative floor. Show me one lawmaker who articulated the views of the people. I represented the Republic of Liberia when it comes to representation at the biggest parliament in the world. That is the African, Caribbean, Pacific, and Joint European Parliament. When you see European contribution to Liberia, it has to be endorsed by the European Parliament, and we have to give some support towards it. I represented Liberia for 6 solid years. When you talk about European Union support to Liberia, you think it just came under the blue sky? Okay?
Okay.
Who represented this country adequately, like Edwin Snow, for example, is representing Liberia, the ECOWAS Parliament. Okay? We made a representation. The name Akaras Gray is a household name.
So now,
okay?
Yeah.
The name is not just a household name. We fought for people who stood. Look at Ellen for 6 years. Tell me that I didn't fight for the people. Tell me that I didn't stand up. I just told you about electrification. I just told you about health and sanitation. I just told you about roads. These are concrete representation of the people. I told you how we took President Weah to the University of Liberia campus to announce free education for public college, free tuition, for public universities and colleges across the country. Go to the video and see that. So, I didn't lose District 8 because of representation or because of my oversight. I created the Ministry of Finance and the Liberian Revenue Authority that people are being employed at. That's my oversight as chairman on governance. We created those two entities. I was the lead, my committee was the lead committee to create a Liberian Revenue Authority that generating revenue today for developmental purposes, that you get the Ministry of Finance Development Planning, that we merged the then Ministry of Finance and the Ministry of Planning and created a new ministry called the Ministry of Finance Development Planning. The Liberian Revenue Authority took the revenue component from under the old Ministry of Finance and created a new entity called LRA.
Okay.
So I've told you exactly, you see, in life you should know where you stump your toes is not where you fell. So I've explained to you where I stumped my toes.
Okay.
On the basis of making a declaration that I wasn't going to contest. And I didn't put much time into it because I did not want to, and I explained the genesis of it.
Okay.
And then when I got there, a lot of people had left, and other people had come into the system who wanted to contest on the CDC ticket, but could not win me in the primary. So some of them went as independent candidate. So we had divided votes.
Okay. So
That's why, unfortunately,
yeah,
we lost. We're less than that was, I think, 0.04% of the votes.
okay. So now, since you've been out of government, is there any regret or something that you think you should have done that you did not do better? If there is, what is that?
You see, representation, and as a lawmaker, that's why the framework of the Constitution did not give terms limit
Okay.
to a senator or a representative. You got some senators in America who serve for 30 years because there will always be a repository of knowledge. There will always be a reservoir of knowledge. There will always be somebody who you will have to look up to, even if you enter an entity. For example, a ministry of government. There are veterans that are there that will help to set the foundation. That you stay on the old mat to plant the new mat. There will always be lawmaking. There will always be lawmaking. That's why they created the entity they call the first branch of government to make laws. There will always be representation. There will always be oversight. So sometimes events will take place, and on the basis of that, people will say we need to pass on legislation on the subject matter, for example. Okay? So there are many subject matters that may occur. Take, for example, today, the kind of demolition that are ongoing in the country. Can we strengthen the Land Rare Act, for example? Can we pass a new law, for example? So we need, a lot of things need to be done. Okay? So a lot of things we keep being done, for example. Can we legislate, for example, there should be free primary education in the Republic of Liberia? Okay, can we legislate it, for example? So the issue of regret, no, I've had no rare regret in terms of my performance. The only regret that I've had is that the current composition of the legislature, I'm not done talking on them, but especially the House of Representatives, have not been able to stand up.
Okay.
Yeah, the way the Liberian people disparage them is because the way they've been able to present themselves to the Liberian people. The level of disparagement is very high. The level of distrust in the current composition of the legislature is extremely high. People see them as rubber stamps. People classify them as mere money eaters. You know, they're gone 2 to 3 years now going. I'm not done talking on them, but I think they need to do more to restore the dignity of the legislature.
Yeah,
and that's one of the reasons why we are going back to help restore the dignity of the legislature and provide leadership in this country.
Yeah. So before we move over to the legislature, how confident are you in winning the election comes 2029?
It's a giving. It's a giving. It's a giving, my brother. We're going to win commandingly and decisively. Let me repeat. We'll win the election commandingly and decisively. I know that people love me. I can tell you this. When it comes to love for Alacaros Gray, now the young people love me. They should know it and across the country. The women, the older men, the people love me. I can tell you this. If there was no love, and these people probably would have been like all the lawmakers to just sit, former lawmaker. But I'm very loved, and it's a popular demand of the people that will return. That's a popular demand. There's no regret. I think you saw the video the last time from Satan. I don't know what is in front of the U.S. Embassy or Satan. There's a lady who said, even though I did not vote for Akaros Gray in all of the elections, even though I went against him, But when it came to standing for the people, he was there. And if Akaros were a lawmaker today, they would not demolish our homes because he stood for us despite our disagreement with him. That's one thing he did. And I'm people driven. I'm human centered also. So I mean, we will go and we make a change. We are very convinced about that, and we'll contest in District number 8. People can agree, people can disagree. It's their fundamental rights to agree and disagree. That's why I'm so tolerant. You see on my Facebook page, people will even insult me sometimes. Just smart about it. I don't usually respond to people except once in a while.
Okay.
But yes, but it's the core fundamental right of people to agree and disagree with you. There will always be opponents. So we are born competitors. We never got anything on silver platter. From the time I was born, I never got anything on silver platter. Even going to school, it had to be competition. I grew up in competition. I was born into competition. So I'm a born competitor. And I go into the fight with everything that I have on hands to fight with, legitimately.
Okay, so now let me say many thanks to you, those of you just joining us, folks. This is the talking point on Blaze Radio 90.7 FM, Blaze Online TV on Facebook and YouTube, and I'm in conversation with former District number 8 Representative Akaros Gray. We are talking about a series of national issues here tonight. Representative Gray, you talking about the current legislature, the 55th legislature, you refer to them as rubber stamp. Here comes this question, right? What's the difference between the 55th compared to the two categories of legislature for which you served in? I'm talking about the 53rd and 54th. What's the difference?
Okay, I don't miss my voice, right?
Yeah, many people know you for that.
Yeah, I don't miss my voice. But I will be very blunt. Like I said, my objective is not to down talk on honorable men, these honorable men. They should be honorable men and women of the legislature. Truth be told is that I was fortunate to serve as an opposition in the 53rd and as a member of the ruling party in the 54th legislature. So I'm in opposition to speak properly. The level of representation in our country is in a downward trend. Let me repeat. The level of representation in our country is in a downward trend. And I hope the voters will vote more Akaros Gray and other people into the legislature to stand up. Because that place is not a ministry. It's not an agency of government what a minister runs or control. We all have a single vote. In the 53rd, we have men. I can tell you that. In the 53rd, we had a speaker that had a very strong respect across the country. So what you want to say with him, I differ with Alex Starter. I voted against him as speaker. Okay, I was in the process of removing. And then the Mario Nukwe came there. So we have people who were faces to the extent that when they move into the public or when they stand up against the executive branch of government, the president of the country will shiver because we have character like Professor Boyman family, for example. When I say Boyman family, I don't represent the Boyman family. We have Bill Twawe, for example. We have Gabriel Ninkan, for example. We have Clarence Massacoy. We have Jacob Smith, for example. We have Jim Banin, for example. Okay, you can go on and on and on and name them. We have the late Ada Lauren. We have the intellectual celebrator star, the late Eugene Falapaka. We have Mona Penonyon Bloor. Yeah, we have the lady from Morris. Morris Farm area that we just had with Josephine Francis, for example. She became chairman on Zaire once upon a time. Okay, we have Blambo Wisse, for example, who became deputy minister of state and subsequently minister of state. So yes, so in the House of Representatives, Edwin Snow, for example. So we have men, we have former Speaker Snow, we have former Speaker Ellis Starter at a point in time, he was Speaker. We have Professor Edward Ford. So yes, we had a caliber of people and category of people who were extremely reasonable that you could deal with, even in my indifference, like Dr. Buffer Chimos, for example, was on the Committee on Governance. Larry Nyankwe, for example. Okay, I can go on and on and on and on and name the Jefferson Camo, for example, who became National Security Advisor. So yes, we have respectable people. Some of them have come from the student community that are respected. Some of them had national government experience, for example. They were opinion leaders in their community. Then came the 55th legislature. Some of those people got replaced. Okay, and one of the challenges about the legislature that people are now realizing, I see in this group of lawmakers, is that they don't respect seniority. Okay, whether you like it or not, when you get to that legislature, it's a school of thought by itself. You got to learn. You can have a PhD, you got to learn. Believe me today. It's a school by itself. You got to know the rules. You got to know certain legislative tactics, practices. Did they go to a workshop, for example, to be trained? How many workshops? The board is heavily divided. After the first year, they went into a crisis to remove a speaker. The current speaker is a personal friend of mine. I can say this to you. Though we have differed, okay, things are not been very cool with us. The deputy speaker been my very personal friend before, though we don't talk like the way we used to talk before. Okay, veteran Thomas Fala, who should be leading and guiding the flow, the way the flow is routed, for example, and the way people are not pushing. You know, every time you get for the vote, you go remove speaker, you expect Yeke Korba, and you don't use that for the vote that Yeke was firing back 3 days ago. Instead, you had it for the vote to remove or Fanatic Kofa, though you did not reach for the now, but you had a majority. You have for the now vote to remove me. Okay, but why can't you use that for the now vote to take care of the welfare of the Liberian people? Some Liberians are there crying that their children are in school, for example. The health sectors are crying. You call the whole legislature back just to expel a colleague? This is unprecedented in the history of the country. It's unprecedented. So then the speaker calls himself a regime speaker. What are you saying about the legislature? He's my friend. Okay, I still see the speaker and the deputy speaker. They're like, they are presiding, but it's like they're still learning the process. All the lawmakers, the oversight is not very robust. People in the executive don't show no respect to them, and that's one of the bad things. I see ministers, assistant minister, deputy ministers who go on Facebook and attack lawmakers. Ellis Starr, in as much as he disagreed with me, and I fought him. When I remember when Asa Jackson went up and made a derogatory statement about me, he was summoned at the Capitol building. I was in opposition. I remember when Eugene Falcon went and then Edwin Snow under President we brought Eugene Falcon. In fact, we handcuffed him and sent him to jail. You remember the story, right?
Yeah, there are lots of we're in Liberia. We saw some of these things.
Yeah, the scenario Romero brought, for example. But if you look at the House of Representatives, they need to step up their game. They still have 3 more years to go. I'm saying this in a constructive manner.
No.
Okay? They send for ministers, they don't want to come. Assistant ministers standing in the public and insulting law, because see what happened to Edwin Snow the last time, for example. Daniel Samuel, the Minister of Information insulting the lawmaker.
So now, Representative Gray, there are lots of people who believe
no,
that...
No, that'd be wrong.
Yes,
you know what it means?
Yeah,
An appointed official in the U.S. Congress will not attack a lawmaker in the public, because lawmakers will advocate for their constituents. They are opposition. Some of them are opposition to the executive branch of government. It's not that the executive, everybody working for the president.
Okay.
So you got to respect them. The only spokesperson of the government are the Minister of Information. The Minister of Information. So now, for the president and the press secretary.
Yeah, Representative Gray.
You can make clarification, but to be personal, to be insulting officials of government, insulting opposition people, like what happened the last time with Fatima, insulting Mariah, you know, those kind of things, and government encouraging their appointed officials to insult. So there's a breakdown of not just law and order, but morality. And the
Okay.
legislature have been caught in a fray, and there's no more respect for lawmakers in
Okay.
Liberia.
Yes.
It's degrading. It's
Okay.
degrading.
Okay, Reverend agree. So there are lots of people who believe that some of these things we are seeing today, you guys it was something that you started. For instance, you began the removal of speaker from the House of Representatives. Now these people are doing it. Another issue, whatever what some people believe that whatever the executive want, the president want, it happens. You guys started it. There are lots of people who believe that these are things you started, so it is continuing. What's your message, or what do you have to say concerning that thought?
You know, when you just started, I know George Doyle will remove. I wasn't a lawmaker. I know Nyandro Monkomla resigned. I wasn't a lawmaker. I know Edwin Snow was removed. I wasn't a lawmaker. And then I became a lawmaker when Ellis Starter was removed.
Yeah.
I can speak for myself to that. I always been in opposition to Ellis Starter. In fact, I nominated Rich Dwyer against him. Okay. I nominated Rich Dwyer against him in the election to contest. In fact, when Ellis Starter reappointed me, Senator Ellis Starter reappointed me as chairman of governance after the first 3 years, I declined and resigned. So my entire opposition have been very clear. We fought battles in the legislature. 4 to 5 years, not a single project under Ellen Johnson administration was done in my district. Legislative projects. 4 to 5 years. It was not until the 5th year when we removed Ellis Starter, 2 legislative projects were done in my district. 2. Under President Weah, 6 years we cancel legislative projects. So when I see people running around about legislative projects, they don't even know that in 12 years, only 2 legislative projects were done in my district in 12 years. Ballets. Government under Ellen Johnson Sirleaf, because we canceled under Weah. So some of those projects were being strangulated by my very own in the legislature the first 6 years. So I had to fight. I can tell you that for sure. And I can tell you how the Supreme Court overruled our decision to reinstate Ellis Starter who had done it.
Okay.
Unlike this Fanatikova case. Let me give you a scenario. I remember we were fighting for the impeachment of Kabena Janet. The court sent us a rate. I one of those who were there. No, the Supreme Court cannot stop us.
Yeah, I still have that post.
Yeah, I said the Supreme Court cannot stop us. Guess what? Oh, we're firing in the legislature, in the House. At the end of the day, like I said to you, we have other reasonable people who said that's another branch of government. I think we should attend the conference. And predicated upon that, our lawyers and the Committee on Judiciary attended the conference on Janet. We stopped the process until the Supreme Court told us to go through the right process. That's how we continue with the process in the House of Representatives. So when I hear people talking about, oh, they know the Supreme Court was challenged, they were defied, and you know, we appear actually. I wanted to set that record straight tonight on your station.
Okay.
Yeah, we did appear for a conference committee. Yes, we did appear. So I just trying to tell you that the way the president in this situation of Fonati is unprecedented. The Supreme Court ruled. They were clear. This is one of the clearest rulings in the history of Liberia. Unlike Edwin Snow, when the Supreme Court ruled, he resigned. You understand? Hello?
Yeah, you are live. We are getting you.
Yeah. When the Supreme Court ruled in favor of Edwin Snow said, because I don't have the number, I'll resign.
Yeah.
So he resigned. Okay. For this one, President Bega said, after the Supreme Court said the group is illegal, they were illegally seated, they didn't have a presiding officer, the speaker is the presiding officer, rating, he said, I will do business with the majority. To the extent where police officers went to the Capitol building and flogged members of the minority. And that action may not go unpunished in the future. Because the legislature became desecrated by the executive branch of government. And Gregory then in the future will have to take full responsibility and pay for that reckless action. I'm one of those who believe that they have to pay for it because that play was desecrated.
Okay, so
the situation was different. At the end of the day, imagine the Capitol building got bombed because of the crisis.
okay.
Somebody called himself regime speaker. So the situation changed. Let's be realistic. Don't get me wrong. That's a political horse. People are all for it. Don't never ever think that there will not be future attempt to remove a speaker. Don't ever think about that. Okay. Don't ever think about that. There will always be attempts. Even Papa Chimos, there were attempts. But we had the place locked down. As chairman on executive, and I constructed what we call the special forces. 15 critical lawmakers called the special forces. Bipartisan approach to protect the legislative flow in the House of Representatives and ensure that we do not create instability. Speaker Chimos, amongst the last four speakers, he was stable. If you notice it, was that not resolution to removing? There were resolutions.
No, but there are
More
lots,
than 2 resolutions.
Yeah, Representative Great. There are lots of people who believe the reason why former Speaker Chamber remained in that position is because the former president was satisfied with him. The former president wanted him. So therefore, you guys supported him because former President Weah wanted him, and he was from the CDC.
No, you see, I will say this much to you. And we got to be real. You see, that's why I said I don't miss my words. There were times there were loggerheads between the executive and the legislature under President Weah.
Okay.
Yes. There were times there were loggerheads. You'll be shocked. Unfortunately, it's a very stumble man that you're looking at. So don't overlook. Even the former president, don't overlook. There were times there was a stand-up between the executive, but the way we handle it was different.
At the end,
the way we handle it.
At the end,
let me give you an example. Let me give you an example. Let me give you an example.
Okay, go ahead.
The tenant bills, for example, the Senate held it. They refused to act on it. The tenant bills, there were requests by the executive to cancel certain tenant positions and maintain some. The Senate held it. There were moments the Senate declined. We had a control of the Senate, but there were moments the Senate declined to confirm certain people. Yes. There were moments the Deputy Defense Minister that were nominated by President Weah, the Senate declined to confirm him. Even when Samra Wolokoli and the former Justice Minister were nominated by the President in 2023, they declined. The House of Representatives rejected the meter steel deal. In fact, I was on the floor, very bombastic, on the meter steel deal. We rejected the deal that the legislature just passed. So there were instances that there were loggerheads. I remember President Weah had to veto some bills and all. There were moments people said that overturn the veto. We said, no, I don't think we should go that route with the executive. The executive said it will veto, you know. There were times that we were shuttering between the executive branch of government and the legislature, our chairman on the executive, to stabilize the grounds. Okay? There were moments, let me tell you, that people got resolution to remove buffer chamber. If you think I lie, ask some lawmakers who were there. I helped to store it. It was not because the executive wanted or the executive did not want it. Some of the fights originate. Let me tell you how some of the fights can start. Many of the fights can be internal. They can start internal fights.
Okay.
Some people disgruntled because the way they are being treated. You know? Okay? Other people are going to their district. They're making headways, but you're not making headways. Some people, the committees, you know, committee can bring classes and all committees. Okay? Sometimes some people feel that the speaker doesn't love them. He doesn't recognize them on the legislative floor. You know? Some people, different reasons. Don't be surprised that there's the third year, because every 3 years you appoint new committee members or you reappoint them, right? The speaker will appoint at the end of the year, next year, January. Some people may get vexed with the speaker. There could be a coup d'etat in the legislature, in the House. Oh, yeah. You think everyone's satisfied? So for different reasons.
But yeah,
Take for example,
but Representative Gray, with all of
in
this,
6 years, for example, 6 years,
yeah.
my project, only 2 projects were done in 6 years, 4 years, no project. Look at what happened to Yeke Korba. What happened to the minority lawmaker? Many of them are not done project. You think there's a resolution to remove Richard Kuhn? You think some of them will not sign?
Now, so Representative Gray, with all of those things you're talking about from the administration of former President George Manawia, whatever the former president wanted, with all of those things you're talking about, it passed with ease. So,
No.
yeah.
I say I disagree with you. I just cited
How?
some examples, and I disagree with you.
But
I cited examples of where people were
for
denied.
instance, we saw
No, I-
budget,
so-
we saw
so
issue
you
of
think-
4G
so you
budget in
think-
this country.
No, but wait, let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
Why you call 4G budget? Sometimes people just talk because they want to talk. Okay, I remember we passed a supplementary budget. Do you know that sometimes before these supplementary budgets are passed, the executive and the House leadership or the Senate leadership can meet? Do you know that some coordinations can go on? And we'll come back and brief the body? You think what they call you chairman on executive, for example?
Okay.
You think what one of your functions? Except who don't know their functions. There can be a lot of engagement. Let me tell you, for example, the president wants a bill to be passed because I hear a general. Then let's say President Boyka, for example, wanted the Ministry of Local Government, the Ministry of Local Government bill to be passed. Because he's so concerned about the local governance issue. Though we passed the Local Governance Act, but there should have been a law passed called the Ministry of Local Governance by now. Because the transitional time just ended. So, the legislature say, what they're talking about, I think we can pass it. The president comes in, he lobby. He has the right to lobby. Now, it ain't got to be financial lobby, the way people think. Okay? You chairman on the executive, you can convince your colleagues, you can talk. So now they can disagree. Some people tell you, I will never vote for it. Okay? There are a lot of things that happen. Don't make me open a legislative school here tonight. I don't want a lot of people learning from me. They got to pay me for my... Yeah, you got to pay me for my knowledge. Yeah.
Okay.
No. I've been blunt with you. Okay, research work expensive. Take for example, I can walk on the legislative floor. I look at four of my friends. I say, I don't want you to vote against this thing. They say, why? We're going to vote against it. I said, but this thing is the Ministry of Local Government. It's good for the country. They said, no, I can't support it because ABCD. Then I said, but do you know that you also have a bill, okay, and you for your district? So it's a give and take. It's a quid pro quo sometimes. That different reason you lobby with your colleagues. So I'm just saying to you that the essence of the legislature is not to oppose the executive branch of government. That's why you got an oversight.
Okay.
So when somebody say the essence that to oppose the executive, no. If the executive going wrong, you can disagree with issues from the executive. Yes, you have that responsibility.
Okay, Representative
But
Gray.
you must coordinate at a point in time. So yeah, under President, we saw a lot of that, especially the Senate disagree with a lot of things.
Okay.
Oh yes.
Now,
The Senate disagree with a lot of things. And that's where I thought President Boyka will come in at this critical juncture the House is heavily divided.
okay.
Call them for a dinner. Call them for a meeting. Say the way you're looking, you're the first branch of government, but things not looking good, you got to work together. Treat them.
We'll reach out to
properly.
President Boakai. We'll reach
Yeah.
we'll reach out to President Boakai. But I want us to look at this whole issue with Yeke Kolba, his exposure. You being a two-term lawmaker, what's your opinion on his exposure, this whole saga with the former representative Yeke Kolba, also I'm saying battle representative Yeke Kolba being expelled? What's your opinion?
You see, look, to be frank with you,
Yeah.
I disagree with the expulsion.
Okay. Why?
Yeah, you see, one of the reasons for expelling Yeke, one of the reasons is the argument that Yeke brought the body to public disrepute to apply the provisions of the rules.
The Representative Gray, they talk about the statement he made
No, but
concerning
listen
the
now, we're
Guinea
coming to the
Liberal
statement.
saga. Yeah.
No, we have rules.
Okay.
Under our rules, one of the reasons for which a punitive measure is taken against a lawmaker is to bring the body to public disrepute. It's also to provide falsified information to the body. Okay? It's abuse. If you leave that place, you insult, you pass around that insertion, and the body deem it necessary that the body have been brought to public disrepute because of your action, your behavior, all that, they can take action. But they're accusing Yeke of making a statement that undermines national security. How does that bring the body to public disrepute? It's not an argument. It's not an argument. The argument is treason. The guy who wrote the letter, they didn't write a letter on the basis of the rules.
So Representative Gray,
He wrote the letter on the basis of a treasonable offense.
So before you go further, before you go further, I want us to get something here. On which ground people are expired? Is it only bringing the body to public disrepute?
I just gave you some instances, like insults. For example, like you fight outside, the body can make a decision.
Okay.
Maybe for example, you are found guilty of a criminal offense, like rape, for example, murder, for example, all of those things. The body could take decision if you are found guilty. A lot of things. The body could see that.
What's about treasonable offense?
No. Untreasonable offense are adjudicated in the court of competent jurisdiction. That's where we're coming.
Okay.
So look at the police director doesn't even know a function. The police director doesn't even know a function. For the police director who should be calling you for a statement made that undermine the national security of the country, that is treasonable, or the NSA to invite you, the police director went and wrote the legislature complaining. Can you imagine? Then the legislature says there, can the legislature adjudicate treasonable matters? Can the legislature? The legislature cannot.
Maybe he's their colleagues. So, they want him. Maybe he's their colleague. That's why.
Maybe the law is very clear when you are charged for treason.
Okay.
But can you charge the man for treasonable offense? How does it undermine the national security of the country? Liberia and Guinea are war. Have we declared war? Have we expelled the Guinean ambassador here? Have we? We have done none of that. You can sell that land for Guinea, enough for Liberia. You go invite him to the police station? Okay? That's an attack on free expression. Because instead of the document I have in my possession, it shows the land for Guinea. That's an attack on free expression. Today the Guineans are still on the land. Maybe he was speaking in that context. They also Joseph Boga talk about dogs, for example. Okay? Maybe Yaka spoke in the context to say because the Guinean army are occupied the area and Liberian government do nothing. So they land for them. What we do? Up to now, they are still there. Somebody can sell the land for Guinea because the Liberian government is doing nothing. You could be sarcastic. Okay? So at the end of the day, not only that, you call Yeke, you're trying to bring your lawyers. You say the lawyers should speak to him. The legislature cannot define due process to be separate, or the judiciary define due process to be separate, or the executive branch of government. Due process is a constitutional issue. Not because somebody had not challenged the issue of saying your lawyer should speak to you. The lawyers decided to challenge that. Not because the legislature had been doing it, is right. The lawyer had decided to challenge that, so they're going to the court. The next issue here is that you can say, okay, you serve me. Part of due process, when you accuse a man, you serve him the evidence. You serve the lawyers the evidence that come and plead for him or him. So you can look at him adequately respond. And not the complaint alone, you serve him the evidence that the other man has against him. But guess what? When they were taking the vote, there was a violation of Rule 19.1 and 19.2. Under 19.1 and 19.2, when A is A-A-Y-E, I can hear people saying ye is A. When A and nay vote is being taken, the speaker, if he doesn't understand the A and the nay, he can call for hand counts. If a member of the legislature in the House of Representatives by the rules. If that member does not understand, it's not clear about the A and nay, he can also call for handcounts. So when Yeke told the speaker after the vote was taking the A and nay, and he said, Mr. Presiding, Mr. Speaker, information to call, and he said, we should not take A and nay vote because he wanted our hand can vote. And the speaker said, overrule. The speaker had no authority as a presiding officer to overrule it. It's the rule. It's the right of the member to demand hand count or A and A. And Yeke won on that point. It depends on how lawyers will fight that.
Okay.
Another thing, it has not been a precedent where the one who is presiding over an expulsion or the removal of the speaker to sign the resolution. Yeke lawyer could argue on technical grounds on the issue of conflict of interest. Because the only time the presiding officer can vote is to break a tie. So the speaker could be the presiding officer for the day when he's not there, the deputy. When the deputy is not there, the speaker pro tem or the chairman on the executive will preside. So the only time that presiding officer can vote is when there's a tie. But in this case, the resolution that was voted upon recognized the speaker and the deputy speaker who were presiding and co-presiding. Yeah.
Okay.
Yes. They did that.
Now,
Which that can be an argument. The next argument could be this. And that could be a strong argument by Yeke's lawyer that people are denouncing their signatures. Two persons I know that were not in the country, a representative Nima Brish wasn't in the country. The representative of District Number 7, I just forgot about his name, he also wasn't in the country. But their names were called at the time. People don't vote in abstention. People don't sign documents when they're all of the country. They can't usually the Capitol building to sign. So they can't sign when they're all of the country. So they were not in the country, how did they sign? Is an argument. The other thing here is that another representative from Bombay County said he did not sign. So to expect a lawmaker, you need 49 votes. So there's a questionable 49 votes that the Supreme Court could say, y'all go back and do the right thing.
now,
You remember we suspended Yeke, right?
we are aware. We are aware that during the administration of
Yeah,
one
we
president,
suspended Yeke, but
he
the
was
Supreme Court
suspended.
overturned the suspension.
Yeah.
The justice in Chimos, the late judge, Associate Justice Nangwe,
Yeah.
overturned. Yeah, he overturned the procedure we use. So we had to reinstate. We had to reinstate Yeke Kolba. I remember at the Supreme Court.
So, Representative Gray, I have more interest in this issue of the investigation. When someone is being investigated, how does it work? Do you speak on behalf of your lawyer, or your lawyer speak on behalf of you? Like what the lawyer of Representative Yeke Kolba and the committee members were talking about. How does it work?
Okay, so there's the issue.
Okay.
No. The only person that raised that issue before was Grace Kwan.
Okay.
On the issue of a lawyer speaking. Oh, bro. Other people have waived their rights to speak, for the lawyer to speak to them, and not for the lawyers to speak. But there is nothing written in our rules. It has been a regular legislative practice where when you are called like in contempt, they say speak to, let the lawyer speak to you when you are here in contempt.
Okay.
But the issue is not an issue of contempt. It's an issue of expulsion of a colleague. So at no point in time, I have been at the legislature under the issue of an expulsion of a colleague that the colleague have been asked that a lawyer should speak to him or her. I've not had that experience when it comes to expulsion. Okay. We've not had that experience before. Okay. And also on the issue of contempt, yeah, we have many contempt issues where the witness will speak and not the lawyer the lawyer will speak, the witness will speak to the lawyer. Yeah, but Grace Pan disagree on that. So, for the fact that Yeke Koluba's lawyer recognized that, and they decided that their client will not speak, it against their ethics as lawyers, then it means that their client will be underrepresented. They raise a point. So let's wait for what the Supreme Court will say on the basis of that. I think there's a need for that matter to be put to rest finally. And only the court can do that interpretation. So that wait for the court interpretation on that.
Yeah. So before while we are waiting for the court interpretation, just in case if when the court rule in favor of Representative Yeke Koluba, what do you expect from the legislature? What would be your expectation?
Okay, with the cantankerous nature of the House of Representatives disrespecting the court order, don't underestimate that they could do it again. However, it's not advisable for them to do so, because it says a lot about defiance to the authority of the court. Is a dangerous, consistent precedent if they should do that. That Prophet Key today in jail because of contempt. Okay, so defying the court order, what would the ordinary people say, for example, you came for eviction and they defy the order of the court? So that means the law cannot be selective. It cannot be only for the ordinary group of people. Okay, so it's not possible for the law to be selective. So on the basis of that, I will advise that if the court rule against them, they should reinstate his rights. They should do it.
Okay.
They should not only stop there. They reinstate his rights, respect the court decision. They still have the opportunity to investigate him on the basis of what the court says to follow their procedure or their rules. And they get for a non-vote, they can still expel him. The court cannot stop them from expelling anybody. The court, the sole authority to expel any colleague of the legislature, is squarely within the jurisdiction of the legislature. The court cannot stop that. But the court can stop the process, the procedure, and say, go by your rules, for example, like I talk about Rule 19.1, for example, when he called for an order. They could talk about the issue of due process, for example. So the court is a procedural court that will look at procedures matters. That's what the court will do.
Okay.
So once the court takes that decision, I can tell you this for sure. If the lawmakers get together, they say, okay, come here. And the court will give you due process, come for due process. We'll follow everything. And they go through the process. And they still take their votes. And they get for a non-vote, Yeke will be lawmaker no more.
Okay. So
that one, that argument. No. I know I've been right with you. Why it is true that expelling Yeke in my mind, it provides an added advantage to the executive. And everybody in the country knows that it's being motivated by the executive and by the president of the Republic of Liberia. So to expel a colleague because of an executive request. Let me tell you one of the reasons. There was a moment when I expel Yeke said, we still want to suspend. But every time you know what we do, we say, no. Yeke, when he stood on top of the car in front of the executive branch of government, there was breach of the peace. Why the police didn't arrest him? The police can arrest a lawmaker for breach of the peace. Do you know that?
We are aware of that.
Okay. But the police didn't arrest the man. They said we should suspend. That we don't want to expel the man because of that. No. One of the reasons why we did not expel Yeke, when he stood over the car that day and he blocked the road, the police officer went to the police 102 instead of arresting the man. Let me use that brain word, he made pay. Yeke was being arrested, nothing will come out of it because there was breach of the peace. Obstruction.
So,
okay?
So Representative Gray,
but guess what?
Why when the legislature is working?
To have expelled Yeke will appear that the executive instructed us to expel him. Now that we couldn't get a vote.
Okay.
And they were going to bring the body to public disrepute in the public glare that we are rubber stand, that we are useless, that we are conveyor belts for the executive branch of government. That is a dangerous precedent that is setting because the executive, because President Boyka is annoyed that Yeke insulted him, so he's not tolerant that the way the J. Prophet Key, for example, that kind of intolerant nature that they have silenced Henry Costa today, that he's talking about people in the diaspora, and they ain't got no right in Liberia yet that Stanton him talking about, he's very intolerant. So for you to act on the basis of that, you know what it says? It's a Pandora box.
Okay.
Tomorrow, Richard Kuhn.
Okay,
Tomorrow,
right.
Richard Kuhn. Somebody can say you expect Yekes, who can expect you too. Thomas Farah, I can't go to become a lawmaker. They say we did it to Yekes, we can do it to you. Okay? Because there will always be disagreement. Lawmakers will always have disagreement with the executive, especially the opposition lawmakers.
Okay, Representative Gray. We are fast running out of time. But let's go to this one, right? When the issue has to do with the executive. Former President Josh Mane lost the election 2023. Now we have the current president, Joseph Boakai. I want you to give us your fair analysis of President Joseph Boakai workings. It was more than 2 years now. What's your fair analysis of President Joseph Boakai works?
You I mean from a fair.
Yeah, fair analysis.
Yeah. You know I laugh, right?
Why are you laughing?
Yeah. You know I'm laughing?
No.
I'm laughing because I think you are unfair. And you ask me for my fair analysis.
What makes me
and I will
to
try
be
to do my
unfair?
best. Because I'm one of the greatest critics of the government. But guess what? The government came on the basis of falsehood. The current administration. They said a lot of damaging things about the past administration. In their mouth, they were constructing bridges where there are no waters. Have you read the book Julius Caesar? They spoke about the issue of chimney stop. There's a literature what they call anachronism. You create an idea now as if to say it exists, but it could exist in the future, like that object, like skyscrapers. Chimney stop were like skyscrapers during the Romans' day. But were they actually skyscrapers? No, but today they are skyscrapers. We call that anachronism. So they were anachronistic in their conversation. They were imaginative. They were criticizing everything, even the good things were being criticized. They created a picture to the Liberian people as if to say, as soon as they take power, there will be manna. God provided the children of Israel in the wilderness of Sinai when they were going. They were hungry and provided manna to them for their survival to eat. So they created a scene like the Israelites will leave Egypt and enter into the land of milk and honey, that is KONAH, under the administration of the Unity Party-led administration. They falsify information that people were killed by the government. They were being executed by the government. There were police brutality. People were stealing. They advocated for sanctions, etc. They said the country was dangerously underdeveloped. The country was retrogressing. But in 2 years, I call you Mr. Journalist, and I want to throw a public challenge. Can this government show a single clinic as a hospital I have brought into the bare minimum that the government started and completed in 2 years? That they themselves, they generated the funds. They had a vision. They did groundbreaking everything. They had a vision that in 2 years that they completed. None. Or school. Show me a school building, or senior high school, or a college that they broke ground for. It was not a vision of the CDC-led administration. It was not part of the pro-poor agenda. No funding was being raised. But they initiated, it comes from their mind, their own ingenuity. under the arrest agenda. Show me one school. Show me the school, the senior high school.
But someone said government is continuity. So since
We'll come back to that. We'll come back to that argument.
Since they mess on some projects, they got to complete it.
We'll come back to that argument. Show me the rule. That was not a project of the past administration. Show me the paved road. Even the Kakata road, that the paved part of the Kakata road that the postmen on, they have not completed it. You know the people complaining, right? In Kakata, that city, that President Mbeka went and dedicated. They did not complete it. We have fast checks. They were listening tonight and they will fast check again. So show me what have they done in the educational sector of the country. Show me what have been the new policy they have put into place that is very substantial. Like, for example, free education for public universities and colleges. When we digitalize the University of Liberia, show me what they've done. Show me in the educational sector. The WAS fees is not a strange thing. The payment is not a strange thing. Okay? In the health sector, for example, today we question the issue of DNA machine. The citizen administration had not less than 2 DNA machines here. What happened to them? The entire government, the CT scan broke down at JFK. The country didn't have one by then at JFK. We brought it to the country. So my question here is, what have they done substantially in the educational sector, in the health sector, in terms of road pavement and its completion when it comes to originating and ending?
What do you think they are doing?
They themselves, in the arrest agenda, President Mbeka, in the State of the Nation address in 2005, said the arrest agenda is built on the foundation of the proposed agenda.
I mean, I guess you mean 2025.
2025, he said that in the State of the Nation address. He said the arrest agenda is built on the foundation of the proposed agenda. They are rulers in their own arrest agenda that the CDC plays more roles than any government in one thing as compared to Ellen 5-6 years. Imagine that we had 12 years. What we have done. Look at the comparative analysis in their own arrest agenda written by them. What they're doing across the country, the entire Southeastern Road, these are things that were ratified when Jeremiah Kuhn, in fact, was co-chairman on Westminster Finance in the House of Representatives, the vice president of the country. So show me the difference they brought to the country. The level of recklessness and intolerance by the government is at its peak.
But
when you criticize the government, you are declared enemy to the administration.
Representative Gray, you're talking
to the extent that the chicken has come to be roasted.
Yeah, but let me hold you. Let me hold you
to
a little
bit. That even those who supported President Mbeka, who disagree with him, have been declared enemy of the state.
Who have been declared enemy of the state? Which one of the opposition?
Today is enemy of the state. Prophet Kida, enemy of the state. Beyond bars. Aaron Costa could not get a job.
Those people, according to the legislature for Yaya Kolba, he carried on some ad that is not cause for Islamic.
But I told you, President Mbeka is the prime mover of that action.
You do not have any proof.
So he's very intolerant.
There's no evidence.
But I'm telling you it. I'm telling you why you said. I will show you contest clues. President Mbeka said things that happened with state. More thing will happen than what happened before. That he was responding to Yeke's situation.
Maybe he was talking about development.
They generally asking direct question on Yeke's situation. It's not me running away. A president looks at people who put all their life, their integrity, everything on the line to make him president from the diaspora and say these people there, they ain't get no voice. They don't know what happening in the country. You call your political opponents dogs. To an imply metaphor. There are categories of metaphors which you know.
So, Representative Gray.
Okay? Yeah.
You ask a question. Why is the government doing? The government is fighting corruption. Someone says the government is fighting corruption. What's your thought on that?
How many people in the government here have been charged for corruption with all of the accusations and the excesses?
You tell us.
And you got to tell me, because as far as concerned the act of operation, that's why they own. Their own fishing expedition.
You say they are on what?
Fishing expedition.
How?
You create an assets recovery team. They say, Akara grade and get property in Dubai. They got property in Ghana. They got property in Ivory Coast. They got money in Dubai, Ivory Coast, Ghana. All they can't get one. The assets recovery team itself was built on the foundation of corruption. Martin Colley accused them of corruption. He was appointed member. One of the guys who were appointed also accused them of corruption, mismanagement, and widespread. Did they investigate that? The people the president appointed accused the assets recovery head of mass corruption, and they provided prima facie towards the effect. What did they do?
Tell us what they do.
The LSCC cleared Nathaniel Mageo and other people, even in this government here. The justice minister said, no, bring the file, let me review it. Because you want to indict Mageo at all costs. All of what you have charged Samuel D12 for, the same things are being done by the current finance minister. And trust me, God forbid, which I know Toy will walk free. If Toy is found guilty, every finance minister after Toy will be found guilty.
How?
For extra budget spending. For extra budget spending. For also spending on national security issue with all budgetary approval. $13 million United States in 2024 was spent on national security matter with all budgetary approval. Not only that, on the border crisis, the border situation, the border brouhaha, the saga at the border, the finance minister went to a meeting with national security until they had to disburse some fundings not allocated for. Every finance minister for Burma, Camara to Gafon, whosoever that may replace them, if a next government comes to power on the basis of what they're chasing to it, they will arrest all of them. And to defense, very essential, protected by the FIA, protected by the National Security Act of 2011, protected by the PFM law, the revised, I think, of 2022 or 2023, they restated. There are some important protection for the Minister of Finance that can spend some money in with budgetary approval, that can do shifting under the laws, and he protected as a member of the National Security Committee. He's protected by the National Security Act not to divorce certain things. He can only divorce some things after 20 years, whosoever is the Minister of Finance.
Okay.
Once it's spending on national security, the act is clear until after 20 years and certain things you can say. If you divorce anything now, you can go to jail for 7 years. Or fine $10,000 United States dollars.
Okay, so Representative Gray,
the minister argument that money was being spent on emergency national security issue, especially on election issues, for example, to secure the geographic confines of the country, to maintain the peace and stability during the electoral process of our country. Some of those money were given to the NSA, for example. Some given to other entities of government, for example. Okay, can the NSA, one President Boyka King said to audit the NSA? After 13 million passed through the NSA on the administration, he said auditing the NSA again. Yes, in all public record. They said auditing the NSA. Because guess what? The National Security
when did the president say
protection.
That? Mr. Gray, you're talking about the president. When did the president say they'll not audit the NSA again?
No. Oh, my man, you're a journalist. The government issued a statement that they were going to audit the NSA and all entities, right? You remember?
Absolutely. But he said the president said
yeah, but they came back, they wrote another communication that they will not audit the NSA. The NSA is off. A public record, I'm not making all stories.
I did not see that one.
No, they never audited the NSA. They said they're not going to audit the NSA again. They got their own internal audit mechanism, which they have not done. So the GSC, that's why the GSC did not audit the NSA.
Okay, but they have internal audit.
No, but they never done it before. But the GSC is the biggest audit. Who told you that other branches of, who told you that other entities don't have internal audits?
No,
Auditors.
yeah,
Who told you that?
but to say the president said they are not auditing the
But what the
NSA
president said,
again.
the president represent the opinion of the executive branch of government and the opinion of the country. That is not a debate. That why the president is not just the commander-in-chief of the armed forces of Liberia, is the head of government and head of state. That is written verbatim in the constitution. So the head of state is very clear. He takes responsibility for that. The entire executive branch action, the head of state takes responsibility. That's why people work in accordance to weight and pressure. It was the executive mansion who requested for audit. The GADC, they didn't jump and say they want audit NSA. It was the executive mansion who issued a statement requesting for audit.
No, and the same executive came up, Mr. Representative Gray, to talk about they will carry on the internal audit instead of the GSC. Now it will not be the GSC, but it will be internal audit. So that
They
means
never said they will carry on any audit. Forget about them.
no. But in that communication you're talking about,
My brother,
They
they
said
never
it'll be
said they will
internal.
they never said there will be they will carry on any internal audit. Did that other one there? The GSC, why the GSC can audit NSA? Just did that other talk. Why you talking so? Because they know what they pass through NSA.
okay. So,
Okay.
so Representative Gray, before
So let me
you go
ask you
further,
another. Let me say another thing to rest on this subject matter of the talk.
yeah,
So,
but
every time,
let me
for
ask you
example-
this, Mr. Gray. Let me ask you the question. You just
Let me
answer
just
it again.
please, I beg you. Let me conclude on this. I beg you, please.
Yeah, go ahead.
I beg
okay.
your
Yeah,
indulgence.
because we are running out of time.
Yeah. Okay. So, for example, every time the budget year ends, there's an odd thing. That means what we'll actually spend at the end of the day. So, if the legislature allocated $60 million, you go see $70 million. The our increment that was not appropriated for by the legislature were not approved. The final minister pay and an extra budget spending with all allocation. The Ministry of National Security for the NSA, for example, they allocate $7 million for them. Before the budget year end, when the budget year end, you see that instead of $7 million, they finish spending $9 million. That extra budget spending. And what I said, every final minister will go to jail.
My footsteps stopped
If they
as if
apply
nailed to
that
the
on
floor.
Saturday
I
12,
gripped the glass
because
so
they will all
tightly
be
I
out
thought it
extra
would
budget
shatter,
spending. For
because I
example,
knew
the
the
legislature
men's
does not
laughter,
allocate
laced with
money for
contempt for women,
emergency.
spelled trouble.
They
Becky,
know
you're
that
getting
Guinea were
married.
going to say the crossover and they put money in the budget for emergency that AFL will move to the border. There was no money for that budget yet. So the Minister of Finance is under obligation to look for the money immediately to send the army to the border. They ain't got to wait for the legislature for approval. The minister can do shifting on budget line. That's the law that protect him.
Okay. Okay. So Representative Gray, this is my final question. This is my final question because we need to run to the phone. I know lots of people want to interact with you tonight.
So how your life? You got more viewers today?
Yeah, we have lots of viewers. But now there's the question, Representative Gray. Do you actually believe that during the administration of former President Weah, do you actually believe that there were some government officials who did some unlawful things? Do you believe that?
Look, let me answer you directly. You see, and I will not run away. If any government official under President Weah or under this administration or previous administration did unlawful things, they should bear the consequences of their action.
Okay.
What I'm against is selective justice. Which one? Take for example, you say we'll start from Weah time. You served the country for 12 years. Mr. Vice President, now President of the Republic of Liberia. Your office was ever audited.
But
So you mean no?
Representative Gray, you just left power as a government.
No, but excuse me now.
You just
I
left
talk
power.
about selective justice.
Yeah, I'm coming, right?
It doesn't matter.
You just left power. That means you did not see anything wrong. That's the reason why you never audited the past administration.
No.
The current administration came. The current administration came. They believe that some of the officials from the immediate past administration did some things wrong. So definitely they are trying to prosecute them. So I thought you should be happy.
Mr. Journalist, you're making a mistake. The Weah administration were audited. Early administration, they were audits. There have been series of audits. You know, we got problem in this country, and we got to address it. We're talking about the law.
Okay.
That's some of the reasons I said I wish one. When an audit is done under the law that created the GAC, the audit report is sent to the legislature.
Yeah.
To the Committee on Public Account and Expenditure. There's a committee there. It's that committee that will satisfy the audit report and report to plenary, and plenary will take a vote, and the report will be sent to the president. And the president will read it along with just the minister, or they will send it to LACC. Is that the case? The president can just jump out and say, GAC, go audit LTA. After they bring a report, instead of sending a report to the legislature, they say LACC go after the people corrupt. Asset recovery. That's a violation. There is a violation.
About the asset recovery?
I'm talking about the audit, the issue of the audit, how audits are satisfied.
Okay.
I'm not making up stories. I'm talking about the law. Okay? There's a violation. So the president is using powers that don't belong to him. They go to LTA. Can you imagine? I agree to auditor LTA. Because you want that people to resign, you say you're going to audit them. Then you pay them off. You say the people are rogues. But do you know that everybody at LTA that left the position, do you know that the government paid them? Almost all of them. At LTA. Again, as almost central bank.
We are aware.
You call the people.
We received some of those documents.
Yeah, you call the people, you say the people corrupt, go audit central bank. They stole money, they this, they that. They are in a position. You call them, you settle them. So how are you fighting corruption? You only fighting to remove them to create job opportunities for your people.
I agree.
Is that why you call fight against corruption, my brother? Look at Emma Glasgow. You wanted her to resign. You further, you send her to the LACC. Nothing fun on her. Because you wanted to appoint somebody there, your own. Look at Noka. Suakoko. You took her, you sent her to LACC. At the end of the day, nothing fun on her. Because you wanted to put your own people to Noka. Okay. So you just go and witch hunt people, and at the end of the day, you damage their reputation, you damage their character, and you cannot take action, then you turn around and compensate them. Is this how you want us to run the country, Mr. Journalist?
I think we need to run. We need to run. To the
no, you know, there's a minister they talk about Mr. Journalist, so I call you Mr. Journalist today. Mr. Journalist, this is the dangerous path the government is taking, and the country is retrogressing. Every day, people crying, they're breaking down people's homes. The level of hardship in the country is insurmountable. Take your camera, take your microphone on the sidewalk. The Liberian people are suffering. Prices are very high as compared to the past administration. That popular record, and I'm making all stories here with you. You know the facts. Okay, prices are very high. The GST taxes, very high. You go equal, but you pay GST. From 10%, they get it now 14%, right? You got it higher at 13 or 14% now. Something like that. Okay. Everything just high in the country. The whole country chakra, upside down. People are just waiting for 2029 to vote the rascals all of power. Everything chakra. Play that music so la bring and listen to it.
Let's hear from the public, Representative Gray. So I think you're just beyond the line to listen to what the callers will say.
Yeah, I'll be on the line. I'm a medicine man, you know, a Unity Party medicine man. So that's the point.
Okay, Representative Gray. Let me see. 0777907 0887 11107. Call us this evening to have your say on the talking point tonight. We have former Representative Akaras Gray from Montserrat County District number 8, who is our guest tonight. Let me take the first caller right here. No, I can't continue with you. What? Hello?
Good evening.
Yeah, good evening. Walk away from your radio, please.
Yeah, it is okay, right?
Yes, okay.
My name is up here and I call from Pinsville.
Yeah, go ahead from Pinsville.
You know, when Mr. Gray is coming to this school, he should come with truth and facts. I want for Mr. Gray to point out where in that 6 years that the energy was ever audited. In the 6 years, That is still about when and where the NSA will ever audit there. That is blaming the foreign government to audit the NSA.
Okay.
That's my concern.
Thank you. Thank you. Let me take another caller. Good evening. Good evening. Okay, let me take this one right here. Good evening. You are live. Hello.
Hello?
Yeah. Good evening. What's your name? Okay, I can continue with you. Let me take another call.
Good evening.
Yeah, good evening. You are live.
Good evening.
Yeah.
Hello?
Yeah, what's your name?
Hey.
Oh, my word. Good evening. Are you getting me?
Good evening.
Are you getting me?
Yeah, I'm getting you.
Okay.
Good evening to the two district number 6 and good evening to your studio, your online. I don't know whether you're in the studio or online guest. This is the first of Luther Luminous Sagi Geo. I joined with District 6 most of the country. Hello.
Yeah, go ahead.
All right. King of equity should come play here. Most I cannot agree. I feel your pain. You see, all the most I cannot agree going to come. So here, carry protest on the universal campus. There's honorable men, see me, who are in medical transfer during the time of my edit. Is a car to go protest. The same cannot agree how cancer grew during a regime of former president. So honorable most I cannot agree for the 20 years. When you really will come back to school.
Okay.
I believe that there is no space.
Thank you.
So this government is more better than any other city government.
Thank you. Thank you, Chief. Thank you. We're going to give 1 minute to everyone. Good evening.
Thank you, Comrade. Good evening.
Yeah, good evening.
And this is the voice of Prince Kolake.
Yeah.
So I just felt that that was a recording you were playing. Little did I know that Mr. Akara Gray is a guest. And if you never have any question, Comrade, it's supposed to be a conference call. Let me ask the hard question. Look, when did Honorable Gray get to know that in an impeachment process, it shouldn't be done by yea and nay? When yesterday, Cabinet General, the issue of Cabinet General, when none of my lawmakers for Nima walk out of session because they said it should be a hair count. And they resisted that it should be yea and nay. So today now, he's telling the Liberian people that the issue that has to do with Honorable Yeket Koluba, it should have been rather a hair count. When you get to know, and more besides, there's an individual that made in 2016, when the issue about the promotional call came about, he made us believe that the only thing for the poor people was the promotional call, and they all stood against it. But guess what? During that regime, the 3 days promotional calls were canceled. Okay. And let me give another example.
Thank you, Chief. We other people in the line, please. Yeah, let me take another call. Yeah, sorry, we'll just give everybody 1 minute, please. Tonight we have limited time. Good evening.
Hello.
Yeah, good evening.
KONAH, how you doing?
Yeah, I'm okay.
This is Pastor David.
Yeah, go ahead, Pastor. Yeah, you have 1 minute. Quiet.
Let me say thanks first for at least all the brilliant questions to Honorable Gray. You know, Honorable Gray, Liberians themselves at the past, the other day I said, I'm still regretting why are you not as why would people like this keep in mind at the capital building? KONAH, you heard what he said. This man is a reservoir of knowledge. Yes! There's no one to believe that Gray is supposed to be that way. There's no one to believe that Gray is supposed to be a librarian. There's no one to believe that Gray is not supposed to exist. There's all that he knows to help the country. This is decided to help the country. So, no, this thing about President Waka and Wia. So, KONAH, let's stop it. Just let it all really. I mean, President Waka is stopping help because they're comparable.
Thank you.
Comparable.
Thank you, Chief.
Thank you, Ray.
Thank you, Chief. Thank you. Let me take another call. Good evening. Let me take this one from this uncle right here. Good evening, you are live.
Yes. Good evening, my dear brother.
Yeah, good evening. What's your name?
Okay, my name is Brother Jeremiah Siawe. I joined the platform from district number 6.
Okay.
You know, it bad for me when I listen to people they call and they saying negative thing that's happening in the CDC-led government that we spoke again yesterday. This government is on the same path and they try to justify. It's sometimes be my imagination. If you're talking about the email of Cabinet Janet, people spoke against it. Okay, we all said it was wrong yesterday. Why making it good today? If you accuse you get of treason, so it is the law that had the power now to go through treason case or to expel their member. The best thing, and they would have done the police arrest Yaka. Maybe Yaka go to court when he's found guilty. When he's convicted now, then of course he could say, okay, for the fact that you convicted, you can say them on us.
Okay.
Then go through the legal process and have it done the right way. But they proceed the same wrong way and they want to justify. For that reason, they'll be voted out massively.
Thank you.
Thank you for putting me in the time.
Okay, thank you, Chief. Let me take this call on the Lone Star line. Good evening, the Lone Star line.
Good evening.
Yeah, good evening. What's your name?
This is John Skibbetti calling from the Japanese freeway.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, John, the boss of I can't really say that indeed there's tough economic difficulty in this country. It is visible that the people of this country are soft on this leadership. And where President KONAH for everyone going out there, for people indeed, things are hard. President KONAH refers to them as dogs. It is clear you played the audio yesterday. And people now say that indeed things far. And all those things they condemn. Let me just join the previous call just left the line. They said yesterday the 3 days free call that the government reduced to 45 minutes was bad. Have they undo it and listen to a court and try to bring up Cabinet Janet impeachment? Yes, we all condemned you yesterday. Well, are you not doing the same thing and you're doing worse than what the previous administration did? You know, I tell you, if you do not have voice to call, don't call.
Okay.
This is never tough. This country is tough if you are going to hell. And President KONAH later on as dogs in the nation. And yeah, in the other people celebrating. Yeah, this is like blood for us. Have a
Thank
good
you.
day.
Thank you, Chief. Thank you. Thank you. Let me take 2 more calls, then we go back to former Representative Akara's grade. Let me take this one right here on the line. Good evening, Orange Line. Good evening, Orange Line.
Yeah, good evening. This is James Small from the LBS community.
Yeah, go ahead, James.
Okay, let me say thanks to Honorable Gray, especially when it comes to that which concern the expulsion of Honorable Koruba. I think he myself share similar opinion or idea on that. Especially he being a former lawmaker, I think he has validated some of the arguments I have been making. So then, to Honorable Gray, one thing that he brought up that brought something to my mind. He talked about the UP government came to power on the basis of falsehood, and that we know. But then when we look at the Honorable Gray between 2005 and 2017 was quite different from the Honorable Gray that we saw towards the 2023 election. He was very silent to some extent. And for this, let me tell him today, Honorable Gray, I'm one of those who believe that your silence in the 2023 election was somehow intentional to maybe not allow the CDC to win. And now you have the opportunity to cover and clear your name from this opinion that have been holding against you.
Okay.
Because that's silence, the simple falsehood that the people preach. You could not hear the Akara Gray that we know.
Thank you.
From 2005 to 2017.
Thank you. Thank you,
could not hear him acting this thing.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Let me take this caller. You are my last caller. Good evening.
Yeah.
Good evening.
Yeah, hello.
Yeah, what's your name?
Jesse, yes, I'm closing the first turning point.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I want to say thank you so much for the honorable India extremely well. There are few questions I want to ask him.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I want to ask him to please talk on these developments that are ongoing, like the reduction in the price of 25 kg of 2005 to 2007 by the regime. The 285 yellow machines that are going to be deployed across the country. I see on it is so easy that they escape during the campaign that they have patrol avenues and going in so easy and also have to and the needs are on the payroll during the regime.
that the CNN will take off. As we hear Honorable talking small. So, I mean,
Okay, thank you. Thank you.
yeah.
Yeah, folks, we cannot take any more call. We cannot take any more call. We know there are lots of people who want to express their thought, ask their questions, and so forth. But we cannot take any more call. We just get 5 minutes left on the show tonight. Reverend Gray.
Yeah, unfortunately, I was telling you that I wasn't getting the quarters.
Oh my word.
Yeah, but you wearing, I didn't really get the quarters.
Oh my
So you
God.
could reiterate the only quarter I got, I think 2 quarters. Okay, but I like one of the quarter that I listened to provided of misinformation, and this is very dangerous. That is some falsification that the Unity Party came to power with. The Cabinet General issue that you talk about, NEMA lawmakers walk out and they were ye and nay vote. It's a blatant liar. You know, you needed to correct, and these are people that you need to correct automatically. In the House of Representatives, the impeachment proceeding before going to the Senate, there was a hand count. Okay? And Buffer presided. So there were no A and nay vote. He's a liar. You got to stop that. It's not good for the country. Okay? It's true that those NEMA lawmakers that were in session that day, they walk out. It's true. There's no argument. That part he's right. Okay? Because they said they could not vote against Cabina. However, but there was a vote taken. Okay? Hand count. People placed their end of the day. The majority took the day. So that was some misinformation. What were some of the issues that were being flagged? So I think some of the issues were being personal, but I want you to ask me those questions.
Yeah,
please.
someone talk about you commenting on the issue that has to do with the yellow machines that being imported into the country by the government, the issue of the reduction in the price of rice on the Liberian
What you talk about the
market.
yellow machine? What happened to the yellow machine?
Someone said you talk about the government not doing anything, so they want you to
But
talk about
let me just ask the guy, the person who talking about yellow machine. You see, where are the yellow machines? People requesting for $50 million to build up across the country. A machine you bought less than $25 million according to you. People requesting for twice the price of the yellow machine. You lied that you were bringing 285 yellow machine. Here can nobody in the country can show you 100 yellow machine that they brought. Can't it? Okay? The president said they're going to take a loan on the yellow machine issue. You think the president can just take loan on behalf of the country? What happened to these people? The law says the legislature must ratify the loan. The president said they take money from Echo Bank already to go pay for a yellow machine. With all legislative ratification, and you say the president breaks the law and you want me to support the yellow machine issue when the law is broken? I already can understand where some of these people come from. They need to be educated. That's why we come on this program. We open tutorial classes for them to be able to understand. Okay, they agree that the price of rice down. They agree. How much for Kobo? The price of Kobo change? Ask the person. The price of beta ball, pepper, salt, chicken soup, oil at the same price as compared to the past administration. If they were selling Kobo, for example, $100 on a job we are today is $150 or $200. Prices are skyrocketing. Why is the trickle down effect? If you say you reduce the price of rice, but how can the bowl of rice has not gone up? What they put in the bowl? How can the price stay high? If you say the U.S. rate is lower, how can things stay expensive? You've been taking the microphone to the community people. You, the media, you've been going from place to place asking the people what the price of this. During we are turn, what was the price? Now what is the price? Prices are high. The situation is terrible in the country. And somebody asked another question again. What is it?
Quick. I think just respond to the other one. That's James Tumu Wright from LBS. He talked about the Akara's grade from 2005 to 2017. He believed that you were different as compared to 2018 to 2023 election. Now, in his mind, he believed that you contributed to the defeat of the CDC not going back comes that this going election 2023. So he wants you to comment on that.
The first thing, Yeah, the first thing is he called from ELBC.
Around LBS.
Around LBS. But he should be happy that contributed to CDC defeat. You don't think he should be happy?
Why?
I guess the living condition has changed. And he got a government job now. I believe that he one of the appointed officials now. He's still living in the same dilapidated condition. I know the person you're talking about. Okay. You're still living in the same backward condition. Akara's great. You criticize me. That man criticized me between 2005 when I was Assistant Secretary General for CDC before I became Secretary General. And lawmaker Honor Ellen. They criticized me for criticizing Ellen. You say what I was doing was not good for the country. Then you can praise me today. Then you say, oh no, we are different. But I remember the ruling party. The job the opposition can do, that what you want me to do for the opposition? They're direct, they don't be criticizing your government.
Okay.
Then he ain't gonna criticize job we are government. Look, what the opposition can I do? What they couldn't do for themselves, oh no, we are could not do it for them. My job now, you think I will go sit there and clap for the government? Am I Minister of Information? Or a press secretary? You know what they call opposition? I look like cheering squad for President Joseph Boyka or Jeremiah Kuhn, my friend.
All right, I agree.
Am I the cheering squad? Let me ask you a question. Since you get your radio station, you go press Freedom FM or OK FM, you will tell the people that the other journalists are better than you. I'm selling my market, you're selling your market. Your market are writing Boni. You expect me to press that Boni market? Writing Boni?
I can agree.
You go on the beach, you bring writing Boni to the Liberian people. I tell the people, you want to know the Boni writing, just open the gills. Look there, open the side of the mob and look at the gills. You see that writing to the gills. Just open it. So they're selling writing Boni. So I exposing the writing Boni, then people vex. I'm supposed to be attacking job. We are the whole government, the CDC government are my job. And our chairman on executive. Why do people don't understand that in life people transition? My job is to hold Unity Party government feet to the fire. Donald Trump, he was opposition. He never praised Biden. Okay. Biden never praised Trump when he was president. So, my man, I beg you, Mr. Journalist, please educate the Unity Party. I know this is why I appear today. I'm my first time.
Yeah, so
trust me. They annoyed because they've been having free ride. Anytime I can't appear that fire. That fire. So tell them, they take ratting Boni. Ratting Boni. You know, eat ratting Boni soup before? When you get my, you know, the Boni that goes, you take it and go and cook it. That thing can run your stomach. What today, the governance process is running their own stomach. Those who went in the feces water, in the poo water that supported Joseph Boyka. Okay. People who send money from America, yeah, the man say, don't put your money out, Benny. When they want to, and say your door, you're bagging. You calling your own people for that for him that disagree with him, they say they're backing. They are the dogs that are backing, don't mind it. And you get involved with Akara's great. What I've done in the history of this country, that even the tourism bill that Joseph Boyka running away and created a tourism authority that my brain. That I'm post.
Okay,
that my brain.
Let's get your final.
When you talk about setting a diaspora office, President Boyka said setting a diaspora office for Liberia on the dual citizenship thing that Akara's great brain. That United Party brain, I introduced the bill. Okay. And we passed it. I sponsored the Just Law as a co-sponsor on the Just Law. Thomas Goswa was the main sponsor to make just a non-bailable offense the fight against jobs.
Representative,
people say that they want to be talking.
We are already out of time.
Thank you for inviting me. I hope we had it. I hope the people could see my face tonight. But
yeah,
I want a United Party people to see my face. Let me be vibrating intellectually. Yeah, that's what I wanted. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you. It was a pleasure to have you tonight. We hope that
thank you very much, and trust me,
you'll return someday.
Trust me, they will call and they will bombard if you have another program. Oh yeah, what on your mind? You hear them talking the both in the Akara's good. They're afraid Akara's got a medicine partner. Thank you very much.
Thank you for representing Akara's great. Okay, folks. So that's it. That's the voice of former Representative Akara's Gray. Yeah, so that does it for tonight's edition of the Talking Point. Yes, do join us tomorrow for another fascinating edition of the Talking Point. Tomorrow we are expected to have another guest on the radio tonight. That's tomorrow, folks. Tomorrow.
Yeah, yeah.
So it was a good conversation
From Monday to
with former Montserrat County District number 8 representative,
Friday heaven. I'm not
Representative Yeke Kodoba. That's not Yeke Kodoba, Karas Gray.
go shine.
I sincerely apologize.
Talking point for Blaze we day.
Again, according to him, there were some issues beyond his control, so he could not come online.
For Liberia, we go make.
But howbeit,
We talk
it was a very nice discussion.
from Monrovia.
Join us tomorrow,
The one issue.
and we are going to be here with another fascinating edition.
Sound.
Until tomorrow, folks, my name is Ambassador KONAH RUFUS. Have yourself a wonderful time from Pinsville. Bye-bye for now.
Politics, news, and truth we bring. For Liberia, we gon' make you sing. Ambassador Rufus is Sabi the gang. He bring the facts, no be for fame. From government talk to street side chat.